Live. Now we're live. Hey, how about that? Hey, you know what, CJ? Okay, we're live. We're good. All right. Hello, it's Rob. What's going on? This is the A Game. This is what we do on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock from our shared universe studios here on the Jersey Shore. And glad to have this guy with me because, one, he's part of the shared universe family. Two, he's incredibly funny. We will talk about that. And three, he's got his own podcast with the family. As a matter of fact, DJ, could you give me my scroll back? Because you took away my numbers. I'm about to get a photo up here. You're killing me.
Know, but
CJ Cullen, who is handling all the engineering here.
There is an issue.
There was an issue? All right, then I'll start.
The internet is very low.
The internet is very low right now. How is that my problem? All right, now you can scroll up. You can give me photo number 3, I believe. I think if you, KP, you gotta love technology.
We're rolling with the punches, buddy.
Really? There you go. Now I can introduce him. See, I wanted to get the logo so I could properly introduce the man from American Loser and who recently just did his own comedy special, which we're going to talk about, and it will become available very, very soon. All right, KP Burke, what up? What's going on? I think we can get started now.
How you doing, brother? I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Hopefully, you're going to be funnier than this intro. I know that. You're going to be way funnier than the way this started.
Oh, it's pretty good because you guys are over at, not to give anything away, but I think you're at the Bellworks tonight, right? Or no?
No, I'm actually over at the studios in Eatontown.
How many natural disasters have to befall that building before you will just come over to the Bellworks with
I think I have to because it's like going, this may be it. This start may have just said, that's it. I'm going to Bellworks. Enough of this. But I love my background. That's the problem. I love the background here. That's why I keep doing it.
We got to get Ming to put that stuff up on the walls over there, man.
No, I think you're right on that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start with the podcast. CJ, give me photo number 1 because American Loser is a great concept because one thing that we know about podcasting is you got to find your niche and whatever it is you're doing. First off, working with your dad. Was it your idea or your dad's idea to kind of fire this off, American Loser?
No, that's a great idea, man. He's a retired school teacher, so now I think he's actually writing more lesson plans and stuff like that now than he ever was in the past.
Because of his podcast, right? Oh my God.
Yeah, man. You know what it was? Originally, the thing was going to start off as a book. And I was going to write, I'm still in the process of actually writing this particular project, which we're trying to put that out in the next election year because it was going to be everybody who ran for president and lost, little profiles about the guys you never hear about, the almost was presidents, you know?
There you go. And CJ, you can take the logo down now. And, you know, it's funny because you talk about lost presidents. When I get to random shots, I think I got a great, you'll get the idea where we're going with random shots, but one of them is presidential. So
I mean, you teased this earlier. I'm excited about
it. Yeah, you're going to have some fun with this. Trust me on that. But it's interesting because obviously your father and you have this passion for history, and you found a way to do this on a level that's entertaining, informative, and that's not an easy thing to do. But obviously, with your father having been a teacher, I think he knows that, hey, if I'm going to get through to somebody, I almost have to get their attention and be a little entertaining.
Yeah, he wasn't a history teacher either. The history was a passion for him, and he kind of bestowed that upon me as well. We both had an interest in that. He's actually a shop teacher, and then
wow.
Yeah, so he's a retired woodshop teacher, and he would just read history books all the time. So like it's weird. I think he has the same thing I have, where we learned nothing about history from school. It was always reading on your own, because that's like when kids say that like they think history is boring. I was like, it's not. You're just being fed a very bad curriculum, and probably by some boring teachers. Sorry to your sound engineer. It's a profession.
It's been a fun day.
CJ's having a fun day, can you tell? But this passion obviously has really reflected in what you do. And if you've not listened to American Loser, it's available where you find your podcast. You can find the video and the audio. And the cool thing about it is the topics you've had this year so far. I mean, just to give you an example, you did Alcatraz. Very interesting. You pulled out Sonny Liston. And as a boxing fan, I was like, oh my God, right on point with that. And then you got into Lennon's Killer, Mark David Chapman. You've talked about Patty Hearst. So you're hitting a lot of different genres of people who you label as the American Loser, as the title says.
Yeah, it was. And I like that you we got a lot of really good responses for the Sonny Liston episode because
Mhm.
he gets lost in the shuffle for that. I mean, he's the perfect candidate for the show because he's one of the most important boxers in history of the sport. And he's probably maybe someone can mention his name after rattling off 5 other people.
True. I mean, the thing about him, and you delve into it, I mean, all the crap that was going on in his life. And it's true that there's been 3 movies done on him. And if you take pieces of each one of the movies, you sort of get, all right, now we get the whole life of Sonny Liston put together. But he is still that guy that was probably the most feared guy. Before there was Mike Tyson, there was Sonny Liston. It's the best way to put it.
Oh, perfect, man. It was, I don't know who I'd what was it? I think it was the Bayonne Bleeder, Chuck Wepner.
Chuck Wepner, yeah.
Yeah, he got hit by, who hit him? I think he got hit by...
well, he knocked Ali down. That was his claim to fame. You know, he had that one fight where he put Ali down.
Yeah, because he was saying that Ali hit super hard. Sonny Liston probably hit harder than Ali. And then also, who was it? Maybe it wasn't Joe Frazier.
During that time, could have been, but...
George Foreman.
Oh, yeah, come on. Big George. Absolutely. I mean, the guy proved flat out you can still have a puncher's chance at 46 and still win the title.
Yeah, he's pretty remarkable too, man.
But that's the good thing about it. You really are kind of diving into different genres of history. So it's like it's not predictable, which is what I like about it. It's like you're going to take a topic, you're going to dive into it. And like I said, you can throw in a Sonny Liston one time and then talk about the prison of Alcatraz. So I love the concept of this. And this is the kind of concept, like you said, it could lend itself to a book. It could lend itself to be something for television. There's a lot of angles with this that it has great potential.
I appreciate that, man. We had, it was just because we try to do it into categories a little bit sometimes.
Right.
And then we kind of, it's fun because we'll just go wherever the story takes us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're reading this stuff, you'll go down a wormhole of reading, something ridiculous about, I can't tell you, like, even just for the Alcatraz episode,
mm-hmm.
the weird tie-ins to other people from history and stuff like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Or you find out about a guy that you never even knew existed before. And you're like, hang on, this dude did, like, a lot of times, because I won't lie, and the comments, people in our Patreon are aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
We try to do some pretty good research, but a lot of times we're stuck with it. We're just 2 dumb guys from Jersey trying to tell history stories.
There you go.
But we'll go on Wikipedia or something. Sometimes you read these Wikipedia articles and you're like, dude, these guys we're being trolled right now. Someone's making shit up about this guy. There's no way this is real. And then that turns out to be real.
I think the best review I've read on your podcast, and I'm going to read it because I think it sums it up perfectly. If history class had been like this as a kid, I would have paid a lot more attention. Interesting, funny, informative, helps pass the time when you need it. That's very accurate about your podcast.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's
we
really
got called we got called PBS for alcoholics once too.
That's really good. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I thought it fit. Another guy said the working man's Ken Burns is KP Burke, and
that's a compliment.
I'm proud of that one. I'll take that one to the grave.
Absolutely. For those who have not seen it, here's the best way to sum it up. CJ, get ready to click on the trailer. So this way people can get an idea. This is a little sample and a little selling point about American Loser.
Dad, who's the biggest loser in American history?
I told you, KP, don't be so hard on yourself.
Hi, I'm KP Burke. I'm a Navy veteran, a stand-up comic, and a diehard fan of American history. As a kid, my dad would take us on vacations to battlefields and forts all across America. Some kids got Disney World. We got Gettysburg. But in a country that's churned out so many winners, what about the people who just come up short? That's where American Loser comes in.
We're here to put the spotlight firmly on second place.
So please join me and my father on our search for the biggest loser in American history. From the defeated, the deflated, to the departed, each and every loser has a fascinating backstory deeply embedded in our country's wild and often bizarre past. People can be called a loser for a million different reasons.
Maybe they were a genius too far ahead of their time, like Nikola Tesla.
Or like William Jennings Bryan, you could run for president and lose a record 3 times.
It could be an Irish immigrant cook who poisoned over 50 people simply because she forgot to wash her hands, like Typhoid Mary.
How about Charles J. Guiteau, the madman and cult member who shot President Garfield, then acted as his own defense attorney?
The guy was Manson before Manson.
For there to be a winner, there's got to be a loser, and America has no shortage of either. After hearing these tales of these underachievers, sad sacks, and ne'er-do-wells, you'll realize if you've ever thought of yourself as a loser,
You're actually in pretty great company. So come and enjoy some of the wildest chapters
and most glanced over topics here on American Loser.
It's a great promo. That's a really well done promo, my friend.
Thank you. I got to give credit to my boy Joe Fernandez, a hilarious comic, super talented filmmaker. I cashed in every favor I've had with him over the last 4 years to get that shot for me.
And by the way, you celebrated what, a 3-year or 4-year anniversary recently?
We just hit 3 years of doing the show, man. Yeah.
Great honor, man. I mean, you got in before the whole boom of podcasting, because the boom, I think, happened probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago.
Yeah, it got, well, I mean, man, COVID just jumped everything up.
Absolutely did. I mean, that's kind of the reason. Honestly, that's kind of the reason why I got in this. Because, I mean, unemployed radio guy needing some work. I'll do a podcast. What the hell? Sure.
You do have one of the great broadcaster voices. That's something that a lot of people don't give credit for with the podcast world, is that they don't have the voice, and you, my friend, have it.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind, sir. You are very kind. To your credit, great voice. I'm surprised you have not dabbled in radio at some point.
It's this has been the closest to it, man. I had a girl told me recently, who's on our Patreon, that she listens to the podcast as a way to fall asleep at night, and I thought that was bad. And she goes, "No, you and your father have very soothing voices."
See, yeah, that's a high compliment. If somebody says that, you're thinking at first, like, going, "What do you mean we're boring you to sleep? What the hell?"
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, cursing is encouraged on this podcast. See, that's the thing. There's the freedom in me. I'm a radio guy. I'm like going, shit, I can say shit. That's a good thing. Which is going to lead me down to the next point I'm about to bring out. But this is KP Burke here on the A Game. Stand-up comedian as well. Photo number 2, CJ, cheers to you on that. This will be what he's going to be releasing very, very soon. He just recorded this. It's Escape from Jacksonville. He recorded this special at the new Smodcastle Studios, thanks to Kevin Smith and Ernie O'Donnell for creating that thing, and Leonardo. And you did what, 2 shows over there? So it's going to be sort of the best of the sessions that you had. It's going to create this CD, album, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, man. Actually, CJ came through. He was in the crowd for me. And I know you told me you were going to stop by as well. You had something that you were very cool about and extremely supportive, which always means a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we did too. I've been doing stand-up for, it'll be 10 years in, I count it by St. Patrick's Days, but it'll be 10 years this St. Pat's. So Jeez. The opportunity presented itself, and I said, let's get some of this goodwill going. And we'll, I wanted to be one of the first acts in the Smodcastle, because I think that place is, I mean, it's just the coolest, and that's a dream come true, because when you're a kid who's obsessed with those movies and everything like that, to even, the 3 of us all know what we're talking about. We're all hanging out on the periphery. We get invited to the parties, but we're not getting put in the movies.
This is true. Hello, Kevin. One time.
I was in.
Yeah, shut up, Cullen. I've been in. Shut up.
But it was just cool to be there, man. It's because you've seen the space now, right?
Yeah, I have now. Yeah, it came out really. Bravo to Ernie O'Donnell and everything they did there. It came out great.
Yeah, OD does some nice work, man. I get a kick out of that whole thing. But yeah, I just had a meeting today, so I might have to change the timetable I mentioned, or at least had planned for it. But
what was the planned timetable, by the way?
Okay, the original plan was, and this was done, I got to give a shout out to my boy, I'll say his real name here, his given name, Christian Cortez. You guys know him.
The big kahuna. Woo!
But he actually filmed everything for me, and then we had Chris. It was all in-house, man. It was just all shared universe, Mike and Ming, Comic Book Men, View Askew people. Nice. So it was really cool to have that happen. So we were going to just put out the audio first as an album, put it on iTunes and stuff. But I had a meeting maybe about 3 hours ago with I can't say anything yet, but I got paperwork I have to review in hopes of someone else jumping in to do all that stuff for me on my behalf.
That would be great. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's the
fingers
move.
crossed for that.
Well, we're going to aim for I think I can probably have it out by January 2022.
Okay.
That would be the latest I'm hoping for, because the dream was Thanksgiving weekend, man. Because not for nothing. What do you do Thanksgiving weekend? What's your? Is it football and beer, or what do you do?
Football, beer, and just leftovers.
See, that's the move, man. I do that and Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, Mr. Science Theater 3000. I can understand that completely.
So my dream was to put it out that weekend, and then you can do football, beer, leftovers, MST3K, and maybe this dumb kid will tell you some dick jokes.
And obviously some jokes about Jacksonville, because obviously you are a guy who's from there. So there's a reason why you've called this Escape from Jacksonville. Not that we want to Or do we want to diss Jacksonville? What do we want to do?
So I'm born and raised in Jersey.
Right.
But I got stationed down in Jacksonville with the Navy in 2008, I guess. Yeah, 2008. I got stationed.
Thank you very much for your service, by the way, KP.
Oh, I had a good time, man. I cleaned a lot of toilets for our country. But it was a good time, man. It was a underrated town. It's the town I started doing stand-up in too. And then the joke of Escape from Jacksonville was just that the way that I got out of there was just barely alive. I had a whole had a whole legal battle going on with a girl I was supposed to marry. I had a house that I had bought down there that I wasn't living in anymore. It was rough. So all I got out of there was, when you put the art up earlier, my buddy Craig Mahoney did that for me too. He drew my dog in there perfectly. The dog's since passed away, but friggin' all I got out of that entire ordeal of trying to live a good life down there and do the right thing and the white picket fence shit, all I got was the dog. That's all I got to take. Yeah.
It's kind of like, it sounds a lot like my breakup when I left Delaware. It was like going, is there any, the joke was, my friend, do you miss anything about your past relationship? Yeah, my smoker. She got the smoker in the deal. I want to at least take that home with me. No.
Dude, that's mean to keep the smoker. And
I'm telling you.
You know, he doesn't know how to use it.
I'm starting to wonder on that one, but that's another story. Hey, listen, I know you recently did something for SiriusXM. Now, this kind of segues into what I want to talk about a little bit when it comes to comedy. There's two things. One, you actually had to do it clean. Is that more of a challenge these days? Because, I mean, when you're just two people shooting the shit, for lack of a better term, and proving my point, certain words will roll out. Is it something that subconsciously you just kind of go, okay, I got to be a little more on my P's and Q's here? Or is it more just like, okay, not a big deal?
That's a very fair question, man. And it was, I'm telling you, and I can say the name of the company that I dealt with for that. That might give away some of the other info. You know, you're an astute guy, but we were working with 800-pound Gorilla Radio, and they're really good people.
They are very good people. I agree.
So they went ahead and they sent me the thing saying, here's the stuff you can't talk about. And it was hysterical. I mean, to read it was the old George Carlin routine of the words you can't say.
It's on television.
But then they were mentioning, and they even said, and try to have a pleasant tone while you're up there too. You know, no, even if it's squeaky clean, try not to be a Nick DiPaolo type guy who's, you know. But
yeah, and then of course now I got the Carlin thing going in my head. 69, 71, which is 69 with. Anyway, I'm not going there.
Yeah, it was a trip to try to figure that out, man. We did. Thank God, because for Escape from Jacksonville, that's the culmination of everything I've ever written, joke-wise, that I was proud of.
Sure.
And I don't really get a chance to do most of my gigs. I'm like a road feature act for people. I got a couple good friends that bring me around on the road with them.
Right.
Or you go do a 15-minute spot in the city or something like that, or you host wherever. But so Escape from Jacksonville, I think I did 45 minutes each show, which was the first time I ever did that. So then, having done that already and used every joke I ever had, pretty much all the dirty stuff, the clean stuff we did last night, I was only doing 15 minutes, and it was like a cakewalk. It was wonderful. Because
after experiencing the 245s, this has to be like, oh, it's over already? What? Huh?
Yeah, it's like you're coming in and it's your relief pitcher and the bases are loaded, and then the next time you're coming up, you're like, oh, there's no one on base. We're good. I can fuck around a little.
Since you brought up a baseball term, I was reading on your Facebook page, and when you were doing this clean routine, you had a story about you and Joe Buck. You want to elaborate?
Oh, not
story.
Not the infamous Joe Buck. No, actually, it's my buddy Chris Buck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his birthday today. He's one of my favorite comedians, and he will not, for some reason, escape from Jacksonville. He's stuck down there. We got one of the brilliant minds of comedy is just stuck hanging out in Duval County because he thinks every year the Jaguars are going to be good enough for him to warrant season tickets.
I'm not saying a word on that one. Not that I should talk. The Jets. Well, the Jets have one win. Jacksonville, another story.
We don't have much to talk about here at all. I'm a Giants fan, so I hear you.
Jets, Giants, Jaguars. Moving right along. God. But I'm just thinking about that. It's got to be tough being a Jaguars fan right now. You got the coach. You got this football player. Amazing quarterback. We can't win a game. What is going on with us? We have no luck.
They're amazing, man. They're a great joke my buddy used to tell me, too. He was down there because, like I said, I started comedy in Jacksonville. But he said, Jacksonville's not a city. It's just 5 small towns that are holding hands so they can have a football team. That
sounds about right.
It is, man. There's no big city vibe down there. That's That's pretty much southern Georgia, not Florida.
KP Burke here on the A Game. Now, one of the things you did a few years ago, and this is where I first got to know you a little bit about what you do as a comedian. There was a roast that was done for Clerks and Clerks 2-star and soon to be Clerks 3, Brian O'Halloran, Dante Hicks himself. So you're there and you get up on stage and let's face it, there was scorched earth. Nobody avoided your wrath. And I just, not that I have the video, but I'm going to give a couple examples here. Your comment on Mike Zapp said, quote, Mike lost his house to Hurricane Sandy and all of his electronics to Scott Schaffo's coke habit. I'm like going, and I think poor Scott got it the worst out of all this. Then you literally, please no flash photography here tonight. We do not want to set off Scott Schaffo's pacemaker again.
That's he's such a good dude too.
Friends with these people. That's the funny part, man. Oh,
it was that was nuts to put that. And the reason it was so great too, because we had a meeting prior to that, and then Scott needed a ride home. Because I think Brian, you were probably there. Brian was going to go play cards with everybody.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
So I went and I drove Scott back up to North Jersey because we both live up here. And friggin', then he's just telling me all these stories and all about. And I was like, well, I mean, he's a really good dude, but now I got a lot more shit we can explore. So
the best way to describe it is if you find the video, just picture Dean Martin's celebrity roast on crack. That's basically what this was. This was taken to a new level of insanity, but I'm glad because I think that's what a roast has to be. It's sort of like, you know what? There's always a Don Rickles in the crowd. And somebody's going to scorch everybody. It's like going, you just basically went out there and it wasn't just Brian. It was like Zapsik, Ming, Schaffo, Ernie, everybody, anybody who was somebody in that room from the world of USQ. Oh, they got zinged.
Well, that's a nervous night for me too. Cause the dais was pretty steep.
Right.
And then I remember we all went to go sit up front on the stage, and then Chris Covert, who's one of the funniest dudes around, who put that.
Covert is one of a kind, and by the way, if you get a chance to see Chris, he is worth it. He's not for everybody, but oh my god! But I got to say that about Chris. I mean, he's got some of the greatest songs that are the funniest things. But if you're faint of heart, you're not gonna like it. But if you have an open mind, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, and he is a bulldozer in terms of.
That's true. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, he is a bulldozer.
But he put that whole thing together, man. And then I was nervous because I was like the of all the comedians that were on the show, I was the newer of the comics. And then you got, that whole crew, they've known each other for forever. So I figured there's gonna be a lot of good inside jokes. So I was like, I better have good jokes, man, to get my shit out there.
Exactly.
And just so I don't look embarrassed, because I didn't know what they were gonna hit me with. I knew there's some stuff, where the low man on the totem pole, like, of course they're gonna be the who are you?
Yeah.
Kind of shit. So but I just had to.
I was about to say, but the good thing about it afterwards, and forgive me for interrupting you, is that afterwards, it's like you weren't the low man on the totem pole anymore. It was almost in a weird way around here in Jersey and a little bit more in the View Askew families. The video got around. You started to get a little more known. It kind of opened some doors for you a little bit, for sure.
It did, man. And it's cool to have, the, some of those guys' phone numbers in your phone. You can sit there and say, well, and by the way, that's 100% true story. 100% true story is that, I kept in touch with a couple of people after the roast, and then finally I saw, Mike and Ming had their thing going on here, and I figured Ming was, I didn't know how to read him at first, so I thought he was maybe annoyed with me or something after the roast.
Right.
But Zapsik was so welcoming and wanted to talk. I'm like, dude, come hang at the store and stuff. So I kept in touch with him, and then finally I saw when they were doing the podcast, dude, I was like, well, shit, maybe I'll just go record with these guys. And I swear to God, that's how American Loser started.
That's fantastic. It's a great story.
We fall in, brother.
American Loser, you can find that. By the way, real quick, what nights usually for American Loser when it comes on?
I try to put it out. We record in advance. I try to release them on Monday night, so they're available for Tuesday.
Very cool.
Yeah, we got a big COVID numbers kind of screwed us because everybody and their mother was listening to the show on their commute, and then when they didn't have a commute anymore, I just watched my numbers just drop by like a couple,
Yeah, and we know that's kind of the thing that's happened now. Everything is, now that people are starting to kind of get back into some kind of normalcy, we don't have as much of the attentive audience as we had. So it's kind of a little bit of a battle,
It's true. We're fighting our way through that, man. It's oh, by the way, I was a part of the Hold On to Your Shorts Film Festival too.
Little props to the crew over there who will be getting their film festival back going in, hopefully live in 2022. Look forward to being part of that as well. KP Burke is here on the A Game. Okay. Up to the part where I call random shots and then get it started. All right, so we got a little dad set whiskey, so I got to do my random shot before I do random shots.
Nice.
The way I do things. Cheers to you. Thanks for coming on.
Likewise, pal. Good to be here with you.
Thanks, KP. That woke me up. Okay, there is a theme tonight for tonight's random shots because his show is American Loser. You're going to have to choose which is the bigger loser amongst these matchups that I have set up.
Oh, this is perfect. This is my motif.
Nice. That's why I'm saying it's going to be right up your alley. And some of them will take a little bit of thought. Some of them are kind of obvious, but I'll start with this. Bigger loser, the 1986 Boston Red Sox or the 1968/1969 Baltimore Colts?
Oh, no, hang on. Let me make sure I got this right here. So obviously we know we're talking about the Red Sox when they lost to the Mets, right?
Yeah,
That's your Buckner situation.
Yeah, Buckner. And then, of course, we're talking about the Colts who lost to the Jets as the biggest underdog in NFL.
Super Bowl III. Yeah. Dude, you know what? I think everybody would make the right choice by saying the Boston because that's iconic. I mean, I was born in fucking 87, and I know the way that play was called on the radio. And Buckner,
that call by Vin Scully will live in infamy. I mean, it's one of the it is actually one of the greatest top 5 calls anywhere in any sporting event. That one. Here comes Ray Knight, and the Mets win.
It was again because I don't. Like Namath was just Namath, man. So you can't really fault anybody for losing to a guy who, pretty much sold his soul for that season. But yeah, if you're losing to a good fucking quarterback, that's fine. But the idea of it coming down to something so tragic. I mean, that is. I have no sympathy for the Boston sports fans, but that's brutal. That was
because you were actually at one point one strike away from the World Series. They had the champagne on ice, and they showed recently in the ESPN 30 for 30 that here they are. And when the run scored, they're like, "Get it out of here!" They literally were trying to break everything down in about a span of 6 minutes of trying to get the screen down, get the champagne out. It was kind of that. Oh my God, that you knew it was bad, but then you see that moment, you're like, oh God.
It's deflating to say the least.
To say the least. Okay, bigger loser will go to boxing. And one of them, actually both of them have been recent. Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua? The two heavyweights. Just both lost, by the way.
Yeah, because that's actually so I think Wilder's going to be fine because he's in like people know who he is now. Yeah. He's in he's kind of a name that people will be able to throw around and know who he is. So he'll get more fights out of that one.
I agree with you.
But Joshua, he got, what's it called? When you Google search him, it now comes up. The first couple articles are boxing's biggest choke artist.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's the thing. Here's a guy who's now lost the title twice. One time to a little known guy in Ruiz, and now to the former cruiserweight champion, Alexander Usyk, who is, to me, watching the fight, I go, he's a talented fighter. But there's no doubt in my mind, Joshua has the size, the strength, the tools, and he just got out hustled. So in a sense, choke artist, yeah, I'd have to say that's accurate.
Yeah, it's mean when I don't want to, especially as a comic, I don't want to be somebody that you are, whatever your search Google search results pop up as. But unfortunately, the choke artist thing's there for him. So maybe he overcomes it. Who knows? Be a good story.
There you go. Random shots with KP Burke. Okay, bigger loser. Let's go politics. Thomas Dewey or Al Gore?
Dude, that is a good one. So Dewey, that's a great story too. Anybody who doesn't know that about Dewey, the papers ran that he won.
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, I thought I gave that photo. I'm sorry. There was a photo I was going to forward, and there was actually a caricature from the 1948 election, which basically showed that everybody and his mom in the press was already making Thomas Dewey the winner against Harry Truman. And even when in your promo, you have the newspaper with Truman holding Dewey defeats Truman. So it's one of those things when you look back on history and where everybody's saying he's a shoo-in, he's going to win. And in a weird way, I think the press was saying the same thing about Al Gore's going to win. That's the way. And then all of a sudden it came down to Florida. So it's like one was dramatic. The other one was a monster upset.
I'll be careful because I'm not a political guy either, but I
understand that.
I did laugh pretty hard when they were saying that Facebook was going to start flagging all content that said that the election wasn't fairly contested on this most recent go around here in 2020. And then me and a couple other people immediately found the "Redefeat Bush" stickers, and which was hilarious too, man, because that whole hanging Chad thing. I mean, I remember being just glued to the TV for days watching that stuff go down.
Absolutely. I mean, look, nobody was moving at that point because we're like sitting there waiting in the balance. Like, well, who's the president? First it's called, now it's not called, then it's called, then it's not called. Oh my God, we have no leader. What's going on?
It made for some of the best SNL and like Letterman moments though of all time. That was my favorite because my grandmother would we were in Florida with her at the time.
Oh God, that must have been interesting being down there during that time.
Yeah, because I think that was like it was like teachers convention or something. I think, and we were waiting for all that to blow up.
Oh yeah. If you live in Jersey, yeah, the NJEA, which happens every year, like right after Election Day. That's true.
Yeah, because they don't get enough time off, right, CJ?
Nope.
By the way, CJ, our engineer, is a proud teacher in the Middletown school system in Middletown, New Jersey. Thank you very much. Giving him a plug. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's one thing to watch on TV, but actually to be in Florida in the midst of all, like, so I have to ask, what were Floridians' reaction to it while you were down? Do you remember?
Well, I was in, let's see.
I was about to say, you're about, what, 12, 13 at this point?
Nah, maybe not even. It was, it was very, I remember we would watch and we would laugh at SNL stuff. And my grandmother was such a huge Letterman fan. We'd watch Letterman every single night.
There you go.
So that was my bonding with her. But yeah, it lent itself to a lot of good sketches and stuff down there. But they were in the Fort Lauderdale area. I want to say the Hanging Chad thing was all like Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's just interesting to see how it, you know, being in Jacksonville, how they're reacting to it. I mean, obviously being, you know, 4 hours north of there. I'm guessing it's about 4 hours north.
It's weird. So Jacksonville, when I got stationed there, I thought it was going to be the same way that it was like in Pompano Beach where my grandparents were at. There, I was like, oh, cool. I'll never need a coat again. And then you're in Jacksonville in January, like, fuck. All right, I messed up.
They don't realize you're in the north portion of Florida. They do have a winter.
It really should be 2 states. It really should.
Okay, bigger loser. I'm going to propose 2 trades that did happen in sports. Which one was the bigger loser? The Mets trading Nolan Ryan for Jim Fregosi? Or in basketball, the Charlotte Hornets trading their draft choice at the time, Kobe Bryant, to the Lakers for Vlade Divac?
I can't believe that I didn't know that Kobe Bryant was supposed to be a Charlotte Hornet.
Yeah, he was. That's the funny part.
Jesus.
And Charlotte did that. No, excuse me. The Lakers did that, if I remember correctly. They traded Vlade because they were trying to free up salary cap at that point, and they were going after Shaquille O'Neal. So the idea here was, what could they get for Vlade? They wind up getting the pick that Charlotte takes. It turns into Kobe Bryant. It only turns into Kobe Bryant. And then you look at it from the Mets perspective. Yeah, you traded one of the best, the strikeout pitcher of all time for a guy who, well, he's a decent manager. Tail end of Fergosi's career, no less. I'm sitting there going, okay, somebody, and I don't think the GM got fired for that one. I don't think either GM got fired for those trades.
Jeez. No Twitter back then, man.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if Twitter was around when these 2 trades happened? Forget about it.
Hang on. Gruden's texting me again.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to put this on hold for a second because I got 1 or 2 more on random sets. Since you brought up Gruden, I want to ask you something. As far as a comedian, and when you look at what's happened with Gruden, is there that thing where you sit there and say to yourself, is it too soon? Do you find the humor in it? And how do you create that humor in a situation that is that sticky, that, you know, disgusting on some levels? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. I typically don't do topical stuff ever, but every now and then, just the way that you know. And I think everybody. I'm pretty sure he's everybody's favorite comedian, especially now. But Norm on Weekend Update.
Oh, Norm Macdonald. God rest his soul. He was fantastic.
That's the first celebrity death I've been like messed up about for a while because he was just important to me. But he was so fearless with how he would tackle that stuff that I think that's the only way to do it. Because if you try to dip your toe in the water and be like, how do you guys feel about this? Mm-hmm. There's always, if you offer the opportunity for somebody to object, there will be an objection or a hesitation. If you've already driven the car through the wall, then you're good, man. You're in, you know what I mean? So
no, I know exactly what you mean, because I'll give up an example when it came to Norm Macdonald, the way he handled the whole OJ thing. He was unabashed. Like you said, he drove the car through the wall. It was like, here I am. I'm coming right at your face with these jokes. So you know what's coming. Like it or not, here it is.
He was. It's so overused in comedy, but it's actually such an aptly named thing, or aptly used thing for him. He was actually a fucking fearless dude.
Yes.
You know, I think
You don't
Chappelle's
realize
fearless too.
now
Pryor.
it's funny now that we really look back on it. You know, like you said, Richard Pryor is a great example of fearlessness. But we don't. Now that Norm passed away, in a weird way, we are starting to realize just how fearless. You know, you go on YouTube, you watch Weekend Update, and you're almost going, "Holy shit!" What he said, and because at the time, if he does that now, he probably catches a firestorm of shit. But yet he did it, and in a weird way, it's like, wow, Norm went there. And it turns out Norm was right on top of everything else with his humor. You know, I mean, think about it.
He is he really is a can't miss guy, because even when he bombed, it was still hysterical to watch him do. Like, it was, I don't, we're not, when him and Danny DeVito are two people that, like, when DeVito, you know, somewhere, hopefully way, way far down the line dies, we don't have a replacement for that. We don't have a replacement Norm Macdonald.
That's true. I mean, and again, I give a lot of credit to the guys who are doing Weekend Update. They're good, but they're not Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, Che's mad funny. I really enjoy him, but he's more of that influenced by Chappelle, Pryor, and Patrice kind of a thing.
Well said.
I respect the hell out of him. I only met him one time. He judged a roast battle I was on in the city, and then he had no need to be nice to me after the show. But then he's like sitting there telling me, he goes, "Dude, you got these great jokes. You got this." But then he buys me a Guinness. I tried to buy him one back, and he goes, "Nah, man, I can't have anything else to drink. I got to keep my dick hard. I'm going somewhere."
Good story. Yeah, it's nice to see the human side of somebody who's a celebrity and just like, you know, nice, complimentary, and, you know, was really human. I think that's great. It's fantastic.
Well, I think he was already doing Update at that point, but he wasn't head writer yet, I don't think.
Right.
So he's in another stratosphere now. But back then he was still pretty nice guy.
Nice. All right, two more on random shots. As the theme is Bigger Loser. To beer, Milwaukee's best or Busch Light.
Oh,
Cullen is cracking up in the background, and I know why. Because, like I said, you want to talk about bigger losers in beer? I'm like, John Ross, if you are watching this, notice carefully. We salute you. We love your beer. And never, ever go down the path of Milwaukee's best or Busch Light.
It's a bad one, dude. I'll ask you this. What was the first beer that you like remember tasting?
Budweiser was the first thing I ever tasted, and I was never really a fan of it. That's the funny part. And then I get to college, and then I'm seeing like people take it. That's where I was introduced to Milwaukee's best. And I thought, this is the worst swill ever created. And then what happened was Busch Light came out. This is like late 80s, early 90s. And you have this, and it's cheaper than Milwaukee's best. So suddenly everybody's like, all right, we'll buy Busch Light. You're like going, hey, I'm drinking water. This is lovely. It's not even good tasting water. I'm not even getting drunk. What the hell?
I remember there was a Publix down the street from my one apartment in Jacksonville. And I forget what had happened, but I guess I owed some money to something, and I had to pay. Pretty much, this is how bad it was. I was looking at donating my plasma. It was pretty bad. And so we were making things work. I think I had a break in military service, but I remember distinctly having $5, like literally just a $5 bill,
right,
and going into the Publix down the street from me and being able to, for $3.99, $4.08 with tax, buy a 4-pack of Mickey's.
Oh.
Yeah, just sitting there in the back of my pickup truck looking at the dog saying, I don't know where it went wrong, buddy.
We've reached a new low. I don't know how we got here.
Oh, God. So I would say this. I've never heard. All right, so everyone knows that you call Milwaukee, you call it the Beast.
Yeah, Milwaukee's Beast, absolutely.
So that's the Beast. That almost, I feel like that could, I'll tell you what Busch is okay for? Busch is good hangover beer.
As long as it's not the light version. As long as it's not the light version, I can agree with that.
Yeah, because we did, Natty Lights, that was pretty,
yeah. Oh, look, Natty Bow's one thing. When you go to Natty Light, I'm going, oh, dude, you're really reaching here. You're really reaching here.
I'll tell you what, if Milwaukee is completely, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the bigger loser of the two. I think.
Yeah. You know what? That's a coin flip, so there's no wrong answer on that one.
Yeah, but when you call it the Beast and everyone knows it, and most of the people who know that it's crap have never even had to try it, they just know that it's bad.
It does have the reputation. You hit it on the head. All right, one more in random shots. Bigger loser, I go to Hollywood. Glenn Close or Amy Adams? Combined, they are 0 for 14 in Academy Award nominations.
So that was Emma Stone and Glenn Close.
Amy Adams and Glenn.
Yeah, I get all my Aeropostale looking actresses confused. All right, I'll say this because I'm not, no disrespect to Amy Adams, but I've never seen her in anything where I was like blown away by it.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think she's good and very much serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
This weird. My favorite movie of hers is actually probably Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she was funny as hell in that movie.
Yeah.
And then Glenn Close, I'm not going to say that she has any roles that she should have won an Oscar for, but at least maybe she even did win an Emmy. And when she showed up on season 4 of The Shield.
Yeah, and she did win an Emmy for her show Damages that was on FX, which was
I think she got that. Yeah, she got that show based off the strength of her on The Shield. And dude, she might be the best like tertiary character in the whole Shield universe. I mean, I loved that character.
No, Mackie's not a cop.
That's a
But yeah, I mean, God, great. You're right. Great show. No question about it. She was a great show. And
so I'd say based off the strength of it, then I'm going to say Glenn Close because you can see how good she is if she had something better to sink her teeth into.
Well, I'm going to run them down, the ones she was nominated with. The World According to Garp. Look, which is a great film that Robin Williams was the true star of, but her character playing the mother was so important. The Big Chill was an ensemble cast. I'm glad she got nominated. I knew she couldn't win for that. The Natural, yes, the woman that was left behind by Robert Redford, wonderful story when she stands up in the crowd at Wrigley Field and the light is on her and suddenly he has a 4 home run game. Sweet, but probably not the Oscar.
She's really like I don't consider her to be an unattractive woman, but it's almost mean to make her the love interest against Kim Basinger.
Yeah, I get your point. I mean, that's a hard thing, but there's something unique about Glenn Close. I mean, but when you look back on the movie, personality-wise, Glenn Close is so much more lovable than Kim Basinger's character was ever.
Yeah, until she puts a rabbit in your stove.
Yeah, well, you know, which brings us to Fatal Attraction. Yeah, look, if she won for Fatal Attraction or Dangerous Liaisons, everybody would have been happy. But it's been that, well, she got denied for that. Then she played a man in Albert Nobbs, and she doesn't win for that. It's almost like you're 0 for 8, you know. And I thought she was going to win last year, and then it's like, nope, can't even win last year.
Well, what was it too? They always give somebody, whenever someone's supposed to have had it already, they always give it to them for a bullshit movie, right?
Well, the best example I can give that recently, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think it was his 6th nomination when he finally won, and you kind of went, yeah, he could have won for at least 2 or 3 other roles, but they gave it to him, and I went, for that? Really?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's had a bunch of good ones too, man. But it's weird. It's always
the one that stands out to me since you're saying that. Paul Newman, who won for The Color of Money, which don't get me wrong, The Color of Money is a really good film. But out of all the films that Paul Newman could have won for, The Hustler, the original, and a host of others, he wins for The Color of Money. That was called, Oscar goes, yeah, we fucked up. Here's your Oscar finally.
I think he was just too cool in Cool Hand Luke that they were like, we can't just give him this for being the man throughout this entire movie.
Exactly. Even in one of his last films, Nobody's Fool, which is this great, it's an understated, but it's such a great role that he plays. He plays the everyman who's been through everything, and then all of a sudden luck starts to change in his favor, and you kind of feel for that character. And you know, at that point he's got to be like 70. And of course, then he almost runs off with Melanie Griffith in the end. And you're kind of going, good for him. Brother, I gotta say, this has been a lot of fun. And the way to wrap this up is to give you an idea of this man's comedy. And if you get a chance, when Escape from Jacksonville comes out, please get it, because you're going to be thoroughly entertained.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. If you follow him on Facebook, you're going to also be entertained. I'm just going to give you 2 examples that really show his comedy. Recent posts include, if Odell Beckham likes being shit on so much, he should have just stayed with the Giants. So true, though. So true. But like he would make a difference on that team, though. But anyway. And I'm going to get one more. There we go. Just a reminder, if you are ever too drunk to drive, even if it's late, call me and I'll tell you how to use an Uber.
You let me off the hook on the one, man. I got I was getting yelled at for a couple of posts recently.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I think I pulled down like 2 or 3.
Well, I was pretty proud of this little wordplay on one of these, and the problem was I put it up there because my new hours for what I do my day gig.
Right.
I'm usually at work by 5 a.m. So
that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, so like the coffee kicks in, and then you think of something funny and you try it out, and then I wasn't getting any love for it on Facebook. It was because it was the day that Facebook was down.
And there was the ultimate comedy, that one disappeared for like 5 hours, just like crashed.
It was great because my joke, I thought it was topical too. I said, I'm going to try to use this on stage if I can, but
here we go. Let's sample it.
Yeah, it was the new James Bond is going to be a woman, and her code name is 0070 cents on the dollar.
It's funny. It's sad. It's true. I'm like, and you know what? It's going to happen. We know, but I think before that happens, and again, all respect to the women, I think we're going to see an African-American Bond before we see the female Bond.
It's going to be tough sending him undercover in Russia, but I agree with you. Hey, someone's a secret agent in here. Do you think it's the cool black guy who showed up in a BMW? It might be, comrade. It might be.
KP Burke, when you are going to be live again, we will find out from you. Your website, well, you got at KP Burke Sucks. They can follow you where?
That's over on Instagram. I got KP Burke over on Facebook. That's where all the jokes that Rob's nice enough to recap for me.
Exactly.
And the show's called American Loser Podcast. That's I got a page for that over on Facebook. That's available anywhere you can get your podcasts at. I got a YouTube channel as well that we're starting to put more and more stuff on. Maybe an album type thing could be released on that soon.
Very cool.
I can't legally say it yet.
Yeah.
But
we got to let the lawyers do their thing. But in the meantime, I will say this. Continued success after 3 years of American Loser. Keep it up. I love the angles that you're coming up with. And
means a lot, brother.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you coming on. And listen, follow me, by the way, also on Facebook and on YouTube and on my Instagram. If he's playing out live, I'm going to let you know about it for sure. That's a wrap for tonight on the A Game. I'm Rob Akinpor. We'll be back again next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. Until then, have a great week ahead and take care of yourself.